I'm sorry about that, guys. My phone overheated.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm so pissed. All right. I'm sorry about that, guys. My phone overheated.
No worries. No worries.
I'm sorry about that. All right. So obviously, I'm just gonna do a quick recap. Hey, by the way, guys, we are the 90-minute club. Use the hashtag 90-minute club. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We also posted a YouTube channel as well with the same name. We were talking about the Napoli game, by the way, and obviously you, Carmine, we also mentioned that Ozzy made an offsides goal to put him up 1-0. Nico Gonzalez scored a gorgeous goal in the top right corner, which scored 1-0. Dries Mertens tied the game to put us 1-1. Icone scored a beautiful goal, which was 2-1. Chucky Lozano scored due to it was offsides, although. And then Cabral finishes the game off with a goal 3-1. And we were talking about Zanioli. It was the big mistake to the 3-1 goal by Cabral. And also Ramani, making defensive mistakes in the back, which led to the goal. Anything you guys want to add to that? I'm sorry about that.
No, we actually we continued when you got off, so I think we could just move on to the next match.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good.
All right, the next match we're gonna go to is Inter Hellas Verona. So Perisic and Dzeko scored the goals for that game. Perisic was fantastic. He was all over the pitch. And also it was Dzeko's 13th goal of the season, I believe. And for me, the man of the match was the defender. He was all over the place. He was defending the ball. He was taking possession. I know, Anthony, you are a big Inter fan. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I completely agree. Skriniar has just been amazing for a couple seasons now, but I think he's finally getting the worldwide recognition he deserves, like outside of Serie A. Last game against Juventus, he absolutely shut down Vlahovic. And this game again, Simeone, he's been on fire. Many people might not know him either. People outside of Serie A, but he's another really good striker. So Skriniar has just been absolutely a brick wall. And this was a huge win because, like Carmine said, we've been struggling to score. We haven't been playing like we're supposed to, like we did all last year and earlier in this season. So this was a big win, especially with the other two teams dropping points. So we have a game Friday against Spezia. We can't overlook them. But I think that should be another comfortable win, and hopefully we get on a little roll here after that big win against Juventus.
I feel like for me, like this Serie A season has been so exciting. And by the way, you guys can check all the games on Paramount Plus, by the way. Shout out to Marco from IFTV. He's doing a fantastic job, by the way, as well. But overall, this season, I feel like it's so weird, especially, I start with the game. It was Lazio-Napoli. Out of nowhere, Napoli wins the game 2-1. The season's all open. Then, Milan win. They tie. They lose. Then Inter lose. Juventus is winning games now. So it's very, very weird season. We saw Juventus this season when they started. They were, I think, 16th place. They were almost in relegation. And now they're fourth or fifth place right now. So, like I said, anything can happen. But for me, Inter, they're playing well. Lautaro Martinez, I believe, in my opinion, he's a fantastic player. But sometimes he has these mistakes. He's like, he has matches, but then he doesn't show up. Dzeko, he stepped to the plate. Perisic has been phenomenal all season for me. But for me, it's all between Skriniar and Bastoni, the season they're having together. What a defensive back both of them are. And Bastoni, obviously, he led the national team. He was fantastic. But if there's anything I want to say, that defensive back for Inter right now is probably the best we've seen in a long, long, long time, and probably the best in Serie A. Anything you want to add to that, Carmine or Dylan, of the Inter Verona game?
Dylan, go ahead.
Dylan, you want to add anything?
To the Inter game? Yeah, I think that it was good that they, 2-0, right?
Yeah.
That they found some goals. I think that we were talking about before that it's been hard for them to put the ball in the back of the net, but I think that's good. And obviously, like you touched on, the defense has just been rock solid, especially with the is Barella. He scored a goal, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I feel like he's been a rock in the midfield, like on both sides of the ball, honestly, offense and defense. And which is why I wanted to see him in the national team. And I thought that, he's probably the future of that position, at least for next couple of tournaments. So I think that with the combination of the midfield and the strong defense, which is kind of what they've always played with, and now that they're scoring goals, I think that they're probably in the best position to win. But, I mean, the league's tight, so we'll see.
Anything else you guys want to add to the Inter-Verona game?
No, honestly, I didn't really see the game. I caught a little bit because I was at work for that. So I caught here and there. I did see the goals. Like, Perisic, obviously, crazy player this season. Just all over the pitch, providing assists left, right, and center. Also helping out defensively, too, a lot. So he's probably been one of the unsung heroes in that team that nobody really talks about, but he's been doing solid there. But, yeah, I thought the one thing I did think was I thought Verona was going to put a lot more of a fight because Verona's been looking good this season. And I think it's an off game by them too. But, like, that was the one match. I think it was also because of the fact that Inter has confidence now. They won the Derby d'Italia, so they're good. They beat Juventus. That's all they need to get that confidence back. And a mix of, I think, Verona having an off day and Inter gaining that confidence back gave them such a dominant win that it's great to see, but as a Napoli fan, it's a little bit scary because they have an easier schedule up ahead, and they could, if they really wanted to, run away with it from this.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
So this is, I'm kind of iffy about it, but yeah, it was a great game nonetheless. It was a great game by Inter.
One thing I just wanted to add, I think Inter has Hellas Verona's number. They haven't beaten us since 1992. So I think it was just good to see that run continue. And I guess Hellas Verona is the worst nightmare for us.
I'm even surprised Giovanni Simeone didn't do anything during the match. I know, he scored goals against Juventus, scored goals against Napoli. Scored goals against Milan, but I don't know. He's another player. I feel like if he transfers to a big club, I feel like he could do something. Maybe if he switches to an Inter, maybe a Milan, a Juventus, maybe a Napoli. I really think Giovanni Simeone could change the dynamic of the club. We're gonna move on to the next game. It was Cagliari and Juventus. It was Cagliari 1, Juventus 2. The first goal, by the way, by João Pedro was absolutely gorgeous in all standards. When I saw João Pedro scored, I was like, wow. I was like, Juventus could probably lose this game. I was like, I guess, like, as Inter and Napoli fans, we're saying, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want. And then out of nowhere, this was the most controversial thing I've ever seen. Juventus scored a goal, which was disallowed by VAR. Pellegrini takes a shot. I think it was all off the shoulder of Rabiot. I'm not 100% sure on that. It was a shot, hit off the shoulder and went in. VAR said no, it was off the hand. It was clearly off the shoulder. But judging by that, I guess I'm going to go with any of you guys if you want to comment on this. Do you think VAR made the right call disallowing the goal, or do you think something should have been changed?
I actually think Juventus has kind of gotten screwed a little bit the last couple weeks. I know there was huge controversies in the Inter game, but I'm not going to sit here and say I feel bad for them after all the years of Juventus getting all the calls, getting everything. That they had that scandal that we won't talk about, but I guess it's just kind of a taste of their own medicine. So I'm not going to feel bad for them at all, and I think it's what they've deserved for a couple of years.
Okay. And then obviously the league score, that tied the game, and then Vlahovic. He had a big scoring drought. It was very emotional between Vlahovic and Dybala. They hugged each other. They cried a little bit. And this is Vlahovic's 17th goal of the season. I don't know how many he scored in Fiorentina, but you know what? In Juventus, he's playing pretty well. Give him maybe next year. I really think he's going to drop maybe 20 goals next season. And now maybe he has the World Cup this year with Serbia. He's going to be a big surprise. Not only with Juventus, but with the Serbian national team as well. In the World Cup. Any of you guys want to talk about Vlahovic with his goal and him connecting with Dybala?
Yeah, I mean, I think Vlahovic is probably top 3 young strikers in the world. I'd put him there. He's phenomenal. He is absolutely phenomenal. He can score with. He's a classic number 9. He can score with both feet as long as it's within the 18 yards. He's scoring. There's no way around it. But coming back to the scoring drought, yeah, you got to keep in mind that he's changing teams. Obviously, he went from a Fiorentina that's very attack minded to a Juventus that's very defense minded. Allegri doesn't really play that beautiful attacking football per se. He's much more cautious. He plays a lot of blocked, like almost kind of like 4-4-2 sort of thing, where he just wants to stabilize the midfield. He wants to stabilize the match, win 1-0, maybe 2-1, and that's it. That's all he cares about. As long as they win, he doesn't care about how they look on the pitch. He cares about the 3 points at the end. So yeah, that's kind of affected him a little bit. Plus, he's getting used to a new system and all that. So this season, yeah, with Juve, he fell off. Maybe I wouldn't say fell off, but he's had some trouble adjusting a little bit. Come next season, they're a problem again. This was the one off season that we got to see where the other clubs can try to build themselves up and prepare themselves for the next season, because I think come next season, Juve is going to be right back to where they were, fighting for a Scudetto. So, yeah, I kind of agree that I see them in this situation. It's because I've for 9 years we see them win over and over again. But it's good. It's going to be good for the competitiveness of Serie A, having 4, 5 teams, 6 teams competing for a title. So,
Anthony and Dylan, do you want to add anything on Vlahovic and his season so far and his goal?
No, I completely agree with what he said. Juventus and Allegri are a defensive team, so I wouldn't put too much into Vlahovic's goal drought. I think he was exactly what they needed, and I wish Inter could have gotten him, but we move on.
Okay. And you guys want to add anything else for the Cagliari Juventus game? The next game we're going to talk about is Genoa Lazio. Ciro Immobile, national team player, didn't have the best Euro and qualification. We know the game against Macedonia. And we see Ciro Immobile scored a hat trick. So he has 24 goals this season. And the big question is, why couldn't he score for the national team? Big rumors are talking about Mancini's like, hey, we may want to discuss Immobile back in the roster. If you're Mancini, would you pick Immobile back in the roster? We're going to start with you, Carmine.
No, I don't think him back in the roster at all. He's maybe off the bench, and that's a very iffy maybe too.
Yeah, that's a hard no. That's a hard no.
So yeah, if we were to play Genoa in qualifiers, I think we make the World Cup. And if we play Genoa in the World Cup, we win the World Cup, because Immobile seems to love scoring goals against that team. But I don't know. It's just the systems that Mancini play and the systems that Sarri play aren't that different from each other. They're both 4-3-3s. They're both attack-minded systems. They both revolve around a prima punta, which is your striker. They both revolve around that, right? So there's no real difference in the mindset and the style of play. The difference maybe is the opponents that he's playing against. And going back to like the Macedonia game, a player like Ciro Immobile, as good as he is in Serie A, when you have a team that is playing very 10 guys behind the ball, 10 guys almost within your own 18-yard box, and you have that striker who's mobile but not fairly mobile. He takes a good touch here and there, but sometimes he misplaces one. Sometimes he makes the wrong decision. He's good but not great is what I'm trying to say. And going up against a team like Macedonia that is just gonna throw 3-4 guys onto one player, and he's not very technically gifted per se, and sometimes when he takes his touch, you're gonna lose. Like you don't have that prima punta anymore. They take it away. So you need something that's a little bit more of a modern number 9, or maybe even a false 9, something that gets the attention away from other players to create space in behind the lines. So, like, let's say you played Scamacca. Scamacca is more of a modern number 9, where he's fairly mobile. He always drifts to the wings. That's going to pull a center back out of the way. We have some attack-minded midfielders, like Barella can go and take that space. There's just things to open up that play. I think Immobile just doesn't have that style. He's just very classic, right in the center, put it to his foot, turn and shoot. Can't really play against that with a team that's playing hard defense.
Okay. For me, you know what it is with Immobile? He's so good. He's so good with Lazio, and I'm not denying it. Fantastic season with Lazio. You know, he's 24 goals. Although when it comes to the big stage, he doesn't deliver. And we've seen this not just for, you know, for the national team. We've seen it for Lazio in the Europa League. You know, when he's playing the Champions League with other clubs such as Borussia Dortmund, and he doesn't deliver. And this has been a big issue. And like I said, Anthony and Dylan, we tried to defend, and we say, you know what, we're going to defend Immobile. We're going to see, you know what, let's see what he can do, and he just doesn't get it done. Anything you guys want to add on Immobile? He has 24 goals. He's leading the Cabo Camarino race. Anything you want to add, Anthony and Dylan?
No.
No, it's frustrating because we've all seen how good he is for Lazio and in the Serie A, and it just, for whatever reason, it doesn't click for the national team. And I think it's time to just move on. It's time for the younger players to get a chance and start this new generation. Immobile has now been the striker for the last 2 World Cup failures, so I think it's time to move on to Scamacca and Moise Kean and the younger players. I don't think there's any reason to bring him back, honestly. And I wanted to answer some of these comments. Option for Italy, naturalize Vlahovic. I really wish we could, but unfortunately it's too late. He's played too many games for Serbia. So I think that ship has sailed. And I agree. Mancini is to blame for the World Cup. He had an amazing Euros. Can't take that away from him, but you have to beat North Macedonia. You have to. No questions asked. If we beat them and lost to Portugal, then I would say, yeah, Portugal is an amazing team, and that's just the luck of the draw. But to not even get past that first game is an absolute failure.
Anything you want to add to that, Dill? I'm sorry.
No, he's right. I think, I don't know, Mancini's probably done, right? Would you guys think that he comes back for the next tournament?
I don't know. I don't like. You want to give him more chance because he did win the Euros, but it's a real tough decision. I don't know what I would do, to be honest.
I don't know. For me, maybe I like Vincenzo Italiano. I think he should be the next coach. What he's doing with Fiorentina, like Carmine said, fantastic coach. He plays that old style mind, but he likes to play these new young kids and like say, you know, play your game and let you do your thing. And I feel like this is what we need. We need a new generation. And you know what? We didn't qualify for the World Cup 2018. We won the Euro in 2022. So who knows? We might win the Euro in 2024. It might be a blessing. You never know. So, like I said, anything can happen, and that's the beauty about the beautiful game. And I guess, you know, some things, you know, they happen that we don't want, but I guess for the best. Next game we're going to move on to is Sassuolo-Atalanta. Sassuolo won the game 2-1. There's one player I want to mention. His name is Ahmed Traoré. Amazing player. Scored 2 gorgeous goals for Sassuolo. Very, very young kid. He's from Ivory Coast. He can be the next big thing coming up, not just for Sassuolo, maybe another club, maybe in the future. And also a great player I got to mention is Muriel for Atalanta. What a season he's having, not just for Serie A, but Europa League as well. He had a gorgeous goal against RB Leipzig. So I'm gonna start with you, Dylan. What do you think of Ahmed Traoré for Sassuolo? Okay, let's go to Anthony. What do you think of Ahmed Traoré for Sassuolo?
He's been really good. They sold. Remember they had Boga and they sold him to Atalanta. So I guess they wanted to see more of Traoré, and he's shown amazing promise. And I think I saw some reports that some of the bigger teams in Serie A are looking at him now. So yeah, I think he's one to watch for the future, and Sassuolo is just amazing at developing players and just doing what they can to fight for European spots. And they're a team I watch closely because of obviously Scamacca and Raspadori and even Fratesi. I think they just have those three are just going to be key for the future of the national team, and I watch it really closely. I'm a big fan of Sassuolo.
I think in my opinion, I see Raspadori maybe going to Juventus or Inter, one of the two. I think Scamacca might go to Milan because, Olivier Giroud, great player, but I think he's got maybe another year or so. He's getting older to an age, and I think Scamacca is going to be the next big guy. Ibrahimovic, I think he's done for this year, right? It's last year.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to need a bench striker or maybe secondary. Milan right now, they're in Champions League. As of now, they make it for next year. They're going to need another striker. So I think Scamacca will fit perfectly with that system. Anything you want to add on Scamacca, Raspadori, or Berardi?
I think that's not on them specifically, but more on Sassuolo as a whole, being one of the few clubs in Italy that have one of the, I think, the best youth development system. Maybe Roma, maybe no, not even Inter, but like two that come to mind. Roma, Sassuolo have the best youth development systems, and you can see it and how these kids perform, which is, I think, a lot of teams in Serie A are lacking right now. Can't really rely two teams producing. Everyone has to take a little bit more of a. They have to be a little bit more proactive in trying to develop their youth systems, because that's one major problem that's going on in Italy right now, is that we don't have great youth products that are coming out because they're going to or they end up in lower divisions because no one gives them a shot, no one gives them a chance. And it's just something that needs to change, especially for the future, for the national team. It's all correlated there. If you can't get it down to the grassroots system, perfect example, look at Canada. Team Canada or Canadian soccer changed their system 10 years ago or 10, 15 years ago or something like this. They changed the grassroots system. They have more youth development coming out of Canadian soccer clubs right now that are going on to play professional abroad. And look at where Canada is right now. Canada's in the World Cup. They are producing some great players, Jonathan David and Davies, to be the two notable ones.
Yeah, Alphonso Davies, fantastic, great season. Yeah,
exactly.
Phenomenal.
Even some non-notable, like you may not know them right now, but Steven Eustachio plays for Porto now. So it's like you're getting these products because they change the system, they change the mindset. And I think that's what needs to happen, because we're on a downhill decline, and that needs to stop fast.
Next thing I'm going to touch up on is, obviously, we have the standings so far. We have Milan with 67, Inter with 66, Napoli with 66, tied with Inter. You have Juventus 62, Roma 57, and then you have Lazio with 55. If we look at their upcoming matches, Milan plays Genoa, very, very tough game in my opinion. Could go either way. Inter Spezia, don't count on Spezia. You know that they can make a difference. And then you have Napoli Roma, which is the big game. If you're a Napoli fan going against Roma won against 2-1 against Salernitana. But Salernitana, I'm going to say, even though, they lost 2-1, they played for 70 minutes. They really took Roma and put them to the stretch. So just by showing that, Napoli has a chance. There's life. So I'm going to start with you, Carmine. What do you think of predictions? Napoli Roma.
I think we win against Roma, to be honest, because of a bunch of different things. First of all, we mentioned the Salernitana game. Salernitana gave them a run for their money for, I think it was close to 80 minutes that Roma couldn't score a goal, and then they just banged 2 in and won the game. Another saving grace for Napoli right now is that Roma has to play Bodo tomorrow, and they're losing that game. They are currently losing in aggregate, and Mourinho said that he wants to be the first coach to win all UEFA competitions, Champions League, Europa League, and the Conference League. So Mourinho is going to field his team. They're going to play their hearts out. Hopefully it goes 120 minutes in penalties, so they're all tired. Maybe they get the win. Get the win, so be it. Good for them. But they're going to play a hard game, and they're going to have to play Napoli on 4 days' notice, and Napoli has a week of rest to go up for this game. So with these factors in mind, I think Napoli can, and also we usually have Roma's number. There's historically Napoli in the last 5-6 years have always taken care of Roma. So just going off those factors and history, I'm going to say, yeah, I think we win. Get full 3 points.
Like I said, we should get the 3 points. Although, in my opinion, we need to win. It must be 3 points or nothing. 3 points. 3 points is Scudetto still alive. 1 point, I think it's done. I think if we tie, I think it's done. I think either Inter or Milan are going to win the Scudetto. One of the two will win. But like I said, Juventus, don't count them out yet. They're not done yet. Juventus is 9 in the hole. Yeah, I mean, if Juventus win a couple more games, and then you have Inter, maybe split up with a tie, maybe a loss, it's not over. And this is what I love about the Serie A, especially this season, because like you see other seasons, by this point, you already see Juventus win the league. You already see them win the league. However, it's like now, like my opinion is going to go down to that final game, maybe the last final game, maybe game 35 or 36, one of those two last games. Yeah. It should be. And we're going to switch from the Serie A to the Premier League because I know there was a big match over the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was Man City Liverpool. Did you guys watch it?
Oh yeah, I did.
Man City Liverpool was a tie 2-2. Liverpool scored with Diego Jota, his 15th of the season, and then Sadio Mane, 13th of the season. Beautiful assist by Mohamed Salah, by the way, to Sadio Mane, which is pretty funny because they played a match. Senegal against Egypt played against each other, and Sadio Mane goes through and Salah doesn't. But although, Salah's playing very well in the Premier League right now. Fantastic player. Mane's phenomenal, on fire. Diego Jota, I haven't heard from him much, but although, I think he's Portuguese, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
A phenomenal player, great player. And I think he's going to be probably the next big thing with Portugal alongside Joao Felix if those two do link up.
Yeah.
For Man City, it was Kevin De Bruyne, his 11th goal of the season, and Gabriel Jesus scored. He had a big scoring drought. He hasn't scored, I believe, since November, December time. So he locked the dreadlock right there. Beautiful assist by Cancelo, former Juventus player, by the way. It was an entertaining, fast-paced game. I loved it. It was probably one of the games that I said to myself, like, I'm not big in the Premier League, but that was the one match I watched. I watched the whole entire. I said to myself, wow, what a match! Defensively, offensively, it felt like a game of FIFA. That's what it felt like playing video game. It felt like playing FIFA on PS4 or PS5. You're saying to yourself, like, this, it doesn't feel real, and that's the beauty about it. Another thing I want to mention is I don't know if you guys noticed this, but during the post show, Pep Guardiola came on to the stage on USA Network, and the first thing he said, "Congratulations to the United States national team on making the World Cup." I thought that was pretty funny. Any opinion on that, on the match in general, or on Pep Guardiola?
Yeah, I mean, those two teams are probably, if not the two best teams in the world right now, right up there. They're both still in the Champions League. I would expect one of them to probably win it. Unfortunately, I'm a Man U fan, but those two are just on another level right now, and that game was phenomenal. Those two are fighting for the title, and it was an amazing game. I wish that in the Serie A that we could have a game like that with one of the three title chasers playing each other. But yeah, and that Pep Guardiola thing was really cool. I think Paramount has done an amazing job of bringing soccer into the United States, giving it a platform, which we needed because it hasn't been that brought up in the United States, and it's getting bigger, it's growing, and I think Paramount has done a beautiful job of presenting it to the United States fans.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I would say what USA Network is doing, they're doing a phenomenal job. I believe their numbers are amazing. Their ratings are phenomenal, out of the roof. And I wish Serie A, one day they put a game on CBS, like the main network. And they say, hey, you know what? You guys get a game. Because I know last year, I know when ESPN Plus had the rights, they put games on ESPN2, ESPN. And I know they had one game on ABC, and that was like revolutionary. And I feel like the Serie A, they need that. They need a main match on CBS. Put like a Juventus and Inter, or a Milan and Juventus, or Napoli Juventus, where the game may be. Just put a big game out there, and I feel like it's going to be huge. It's really going to change the dynamic. And I feel like it's going to bring more viewers. And especially now in the Premier League, you have Christian Pulisic. You have a main American stars, but they're doing it in Europe, and that's why ratings are getting higher than usual. And now, if you see that in Serie A, we have Weston McKennie, plays in Juventus, phenomenal player, by the way, and he's really, really playing a phenomenal game, and that's going to be huge ratings for American fans as well, saying, oh, this guy plays in Europe, let me watch the league, and that's going to bring fans. You need to bring more American, Canadian, and more Europe players that play in the States and North and South America as well. Bring them in Europe, and that's where we're going to get ratings.
Yeah.
Next thing we're going to mention is the champions. Before the champions, we're going to mention this. I know. I'm going to start with you, Anthony. I know you're a big Man U fan. I know there was an incident that happened. Cristiano Ronaldo, he smashed a boy's phone. It was after the 1-0 loss against Everton. Ronaldo was pressure with the club. They're 7th place in the standings, and I don't remember Man U being that low in the standings in a long, long time. And this incident, it got almost more ratings than the Will Smith slap on TV. I want to start with you, Anthony. You're a big Man U fan with Ronaldo with the incident. Do you think it was the right thing he did? Do you think he should have collected a different way? Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, of course. You can't, no excuse for those actions. We all know Ronaldo is he's just very passionate. He's again, no excuse, but he's never faced this kind of adversity. Ronaldo is always fighting for titles, winning titles, and this is definitely the worst season he's ever had. Not
Absolutely.
him personally, but his team. And yeah, it's frustrating, I could imagine, for him. I think this was not the right move for him, especially this late in his career. I loved it when it happened, obviously. It was a sentimental little move back, coming back home. But, yeah, it's extremely frustrating. And as a Man U fan, we're just in a not great place right now. We just hired Ajax's coach, Ten Hag. I think hopefully he could change the culture a little bit, bring us back to not where we were, but at least fighting for Europe again. Yeah, it's a very frustrating time right now. But no, those actions, he should not be doing that. He should be doing whatever he can to repay it for that kid. I saw he's invited him to the next game. I would assume he would buy him a new phone, give him autographs, whatever. But that's the thing with professional footballers. You need to be composed even when things aren't going right. You need to you're held to a higher standard, and that was inexcusable.
Anything you want to add to that, Carmen and Dylan? Anything on the Ronaldo incident?
No, he's a professional, and you have to act professionally. It doesn't matter what profession, it doesn't matter what you do for a living. You're a professional, so you have to remain professional from the moment you're in work to the moment you step out of work. Outside of work, do whatever. It's your own personal life, but fine. But he's still at work. Technically, he's still at work, even when he's walking down the tunnel. And yeah, even though it's not you lost to basically a relegation team, but hey, you've been playing football for how many years? You know what's gonna happen. You know that there's gonna be a day where you may not beat the relegation side. They actually come out and play and give you a tough time. You know, this is football. This is how it is. You just have to accept it. So, and for someone who's supposed to be a team leader, and for somebody who's played for, I don't know, probably 30 plus years of his life. For him to act that way is just it's very weird. It's very unprofessional. It's just it doesn't make sense to me because you've been through defeats before, defeats worse than that. So what's the difference here now? It's just I don't know. I guess he's kind of maybe frustrated in himself too a little bit. He could be frustrated in the team. Ronaldo, fantastic player, probably one of the best ever. Ronaldo's not the 22-year-old Ronaldo when he played with Man U for the first time around. He's not the same player. Sometimes he doesn't have that same impact. So he probably could be frustrated with himself, which is I think what happened in that Everton game, thinking he could have done more. Then, someone shoves a phone in your face. He kind of just lost the plot there. And yeah, it's inexcusable. You just can't do stuff like that.
Anything you want to add, Dylan, to the Ronaldo incident?
I don't want to beat the dead horse. I think I feel like stuff like that probably happens all the time, in like the second league in Sweden or Dutch or something, and you never hear about it. But because he's who he is on Manchester United, of course, is going to make all headlines. And obviously, he's probably the most popular athlete in the world, if not like top 2 or 3. So, of course, anything he does is going to hit the spotlight, good or bad. So, I mean, I think he knows that. And Ronaldo's also a guy, as much as I'm a Messi fan, he's always a guy that's always donating to charities and showing up to events and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't think he's a bad guy. I think the emotions got the best of him. For as much as I'd want to hate on him, it is what it is. And I think just Man U in general, kind of in a tough spot right now. I know Ann talked about the coaching, so that could have been part of it. I know that a lot of people didn't like the previous coach. I think they have to lean on their young guys. I think Bruno Fernandes has been amazing for Portugal for both the national team and then obviously really good for Man U as well in the midfield spot. And between him and Diego Jota, how we talked about earlier, I think those are kind of like the next generation of the young Portuguese side that'll bring them up. So I think they got to lean on him, and hopefully the new coaching changes them around a bit. Because what are they in, like 7th or 8th? I think normally they're always competing for top 2, top 3, winning titles, Champions League, stuff like that. So I'm happy about it because I'm an Arsenal fan. So it gives them another spot to bump up, of course. Maybe we can see Champions League next year, but overall, obviously disappointing actions for Ronaldo and disappointing season for Man U. But I like to see them turn it around. As much as not a big fan, I like to see them compete, and they always play good soccer with the best players all around the world from a bunch of different countries. They always have. So it's fun to see them in the competitive picture.
I know, Anthony, you have to go. All right, we're gonna say bye to you, see, Anthony.
Good job, guys. See you guys later.
Thank you. And the next match we're going to talk about is Real Madrid-Chelsea. Real Madrid won 5-4 in aggregate. Chelsea had a fantastic game as well. Even though they lost. Let's see.
Amazing game, absolutely amazing game.
Mason Mount scored a gorgeous goal. Beautiful assist by Timo Werner. And Rudiger scored as well, very, very quick on a header. And yeah, Marcos Alonso who scored a gorgeous goal, but VAR disallowed the goal due to a foul committed. I believe it was the ball hit the arm. I didn't see it personally, but I feel like that's what it was. And then you have Real Madrid. Rodrigo scored the 90th minute, and then obviously you had Karim Benzema scoring in the 195th or 96th minute extra time. A gorgeous assist by Luka Modric and Vinicius Jr. respectively. Your thoughts this match? We're going to start with you, Carmina.
Talk about a FIFA match. Like that was a game of FIFA that I was watching. It literally was a game of FIFA. Chelsea, first of all, Real Madrid trying to play very defensive, Catenaccio style, I guess you can call it, just to try to hold on to that lead. And yeah, they had their number. Chelsea had their number. And then I don't know. I literally could not tell you what happened, but they just unraveled. And it was just, can't remember for what minute on. It was like, what minute did Rodrigo score his first goal in? I can't even remember. My match was yesterday too.
80th minute.
80th minute, yeah. So like 80th minute, and that point on, when they scored that goal, I thought it was just like for Chelsea, it was that they were done for. They were destined to lose that game. They just unraveled completely. And obviously, a team has to keep pushing to score a goal. Now that the away rule goal is out, it's either win or lose. It doesn't matter what you do. So trying to push for that goal, Real Madrid really took advantage of it. And talk about a team with Champions League DNA. That team just got it. They just have it. And Ancelotti at the helm too, though he did terrible at Napoli. He's still a great coach, and he proved in that game where they were able to have a remontada and get out with the win and move on to the semifinals.
For me, what Ancelotti did with Real Madrid, starting with the PSG game, I thought, in my opinion, I was like, yeah, PSG's got this in the hand, got in the books. Mbappe scored. I was good, and now I know where he scores a hat trick, and I'm like, wow. And then he does it again against Chelsea, and I'm saying to myself, does this guy stop scoring? Like, the season he's having is absolutely amazing in every single way. By the way, that was his 12th Champions League goal against Chelsea. He scored 12 Champions League goals this season alone. So that's absolutely amazing as it is. And I don't know if you guys heard, but Luka Modric, big rumors he might be Juventus. That was the big rumor.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that was the big rumor. I heard a lot of rumors Luka Modric might go to Juventus or Inter. One of the two. So Dylan, anything you want to add on the Real Madrid Chelsea match?
This is probably one of the greatest, not just matches, but just series in terms of both games that we've seen in a while. I think Real Madrid, this whole Champions League, has just been. I mean, if you're new to soccer and then you watch this team, this is definitely a team that could bring you in and have you love the game. So I'm glad that a lot of eyes were on it. I just want to say that Benzema has been playing at probably the highest level of all time right now that he's ever played in. And it's funny because he's 33 or 34. I actually looked it up. He's been with Real Madrid for a long freaking time, since over 10 years. And it's funny when Cristiano Ronaldo left, a lot of people never thought if they'd have that true goal scorer back again. And I mean, Benzema is probably, if not up there, he's one of the top runners for Ballon d'Or for this next coming year, just the way that he's been playing. He's been scoring in every single game. And I think just one thing I want to touch on that we were talking about before is that Real Madrid started off playing badly because they were trying to just park the bus and play that defensive style. And that's not how they play, and that's how they've never played. If you've ever watched Real Madrid throughout the past 50, 100 years, these guys have always been obviously good defense and good goalkeeping, but top quality strikers, top quality midfields, always creating chances. I mean, they're not the type of team that sits back. And sometimes when that's not your style of play, that hurts you. I mean, Chelsea had 30 shots that game. They were getting dominated early on. And then I think when they started leaning on their young guns, Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., those guys towards the end to actually press, that's the style of football they can play. So I think that they're probably the front runner in the Champions League right now, in my opinion. I know that Liverpool and Man City are probably up there, especially with Bayern Munich being eliminated. But Real Madrid just seems to be unstoppable offensively.
In the bottom right corner, we have a new guest. His name's Mike Mazzola. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, we're discussing the Real Madrid-Chelsea game. I know you're a Chelsea fan. Anything you want to add to the match?
It was probably the best game that Chelsea has played all season. Yes, I know we lost it, but the way we approached it, the way that we took them on tactically, we kind of silenced them. If this was a 90-minute game, we would have shut them out, like Barcelona did against Real Madrid in the Clasico when they went to Madrid and won 4-0. So Madrid has weaknesses, which why I don't agree with that. They can't. If they go against a City, if they go against a Liverpool, they're going to probably be in trouble because City and Liverpool do take their chances. And we just didn't. That's the problem with Chelsea this season. We don't take our chances at all. And it pisses me off that we don't take any of our chances. We signed Lukaku for $100 million, and he's not even in the squad. I mean, not that he would have done anything because he really has been very poor for us. But we just don't have not that we don't. I just think that the style of play that Chelsea is trying to do, that we're trying to do, isn't really it is to make chances, but we don't have the quality. I mean, we have the quality, but we just need the right players for the system. Last year it worked. I think we tried it again this year, and we almost were like 10 minutes away from actually doing it. And that's what most people are forgetting, that we could have pulled it off. We were on the way of pulling it off. We should have pulled it off. But Real Madrid and their Champions League DNA was just a little bit better than our resolve. And still, remember, we still actually won the game, a la Juventus in 2019 or 2018, whenever that game was. So we actually did win in the Bernabeu. Yes, it feels like a terrible defeat, but I'm taking away a lot of positives. Maybe we should make a couple more signings in the summer that fit Tuchel's system well. Maybe get rid of Lukaku because he's been a complete disaster. And maybe get someone, maybe if Holland doesn't join, one of the Spanish teams to get him in. Or maybe go for someone obscure. There's a lot of good strikers besides Holland and Mbappe, who's probably going to join Madrid. Or even he could join Barca. He could go anywhere. But when Chelsea get the right players for the system, they are absolutely unstoppable. As we all know, they won the Champions League last year. They're still the holders until for another month. So it's not like this team is stupid. They know what they're doing. It's just that Real Madrid has the players. We didn't have the players.
Okay. Any of you guys want to add anything more about the Real Madrid Chelsea game, or we can switch to the next match?
Next match.
Okay, the next match is Bayern Munich Villarreal. That match ended 1-1. Robert Lewandowski, gorgeous goal. He had in the bottom right corner off the post. It's his 13th Champions League goal in the season. Fantastic. He's having with club and national team as well with Poland. Unfortunately, his goal wasn't enough when Chuck Weezy breaks the Bayern's hearts. Villarreal were Europa League winners last year, by the way. And if we look at their semifinal appearance, the last time they were in the semifinals was back in 2005-2006 in the loss against Arsenal. Any thought?
I'll go first since I'm wearing the Bayern shirt today, I guess. But this team has kind of has put the self-destruct button on the last two seasons. After the amazing sextuple season of 2020, we've let crucial players go. Alaba was let go. Boateng was let go. And they were rock solid in our defense. They helped us win that treble, that sextuple. Now they're gone. And we're replacing it with all these unproven young guns that have no experience at the top level. And really, honestly, in my opinion, don't deserve to be wearing the red of Bayern. Like Upamecano. Probably is a good fit for a Newcastle, honestly. Because he's good, but I don't think he's Bayern level yet. Maybe he's ready for an Inter or let's see, what's another team? Maybe like a Spurs or an Arsenal even. But yeah, I mean, I like him, but he's not Bayern level yet. But the thing is, I think Bayern, what we do is we invest in youth, and that's why it pains me. Our defense is young, all right. We have Lucas Hernandez, he's kind of young. Alphonso Davies, he's probably already one of the best left backs, if not the best left back in the world. Upamecano has the potential to be a great center back. Pavard probably should leave because he's finished. And we still have Neuer, and yeah, he's 36, but he's better than most goalkeepers out there. So it's not like we have a bad team. It's just that the club isn't really. I mean, again, football in Germany is run different than anywhere else. It's the 50+1 rule. The fans own the club, and Bayern makes all those. We make one transfer a season. Sometimes it pays off. Like when we got Lewandowski on a free, that was a free transfer. And look what he's done for us. And then our record signing Tolisso is a bench warmer who's probably going to leave. So it's a gamble. We make gambles every year. But it's just the mentality of the club. It kind of has to change. I mean, one Champions League every 7 or 8 years for most Bayern fans is not good enough, right? This team is historic. We won 3 Champions League in 3 years in the 70s. We should be up there. We are up there. But in terms of Europe, this stuff happens. Remember Ajax a couple years ago, knocking out Real Madrid, knocking out Juventus. It's happening again, I think. I don't think Villarreal's going to probably beat Liverpool because right now it looks like Liverpool's going to be facing them. But credit to them, credit to Emery. But we need, I don't know. It's hard to explain the situation at Bayern.
I gotta say, first off, credit to Villarreal, what they've done this year alone. They defeated Juventus 3-0. In Allianz Arena, phenomenal match, by the way. They played a phenomenal job. And then they defeat Bayern at their home in the Yellow Submarine, go to Germany and tie against Germany in Germany. So they did a phenomenal job. And I'm going to say one player, his name is Dan Juma, Netherlands player. Phenomenal kid. He's 25 years old. I think he's going to have an amazing World Cup this year, by the way. Phenomenal player. I know I'm gonna mention you, Carmina, because you said you're Canadian, right?
Yeah.
And I know the World Cup is happening. This year it's going to be on Fox, by the way. I know in Group F there's Canada, Belgium, Morocco, and Croatia. Any details? Anything you want to add? I know you're on your Canadians.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We made it. First time since 1984? No, in 86. 30-something odd years ago since Canada last qualified for a World Cup. And Canada's always been the kind of the joke of North America when it came to football. You know, it was always the U.S., Mexico that would just come here and trample all over us. And we kind of accepted it because we knew that we weren't good until as of recent. And it's fantastic that Canada's been able to produce these young talents, i.e. Jonathan David, Alfonso Davies, Steven Eustáquio, Mark Anthony Kay. Like these are actually very, very decent players. And then plus you got some experienced players that play in Europe, like Milan Borjan, plays for Red Star Belgrade. So yeah, like they have a good mix of and Atiba Hutchinson, who plays in Turkey. So they have a good mix of young stars, young talents that are up and coming, and experienced guys who played in Europe and know what the competition's like. Going into that group, though, you got Croatia and you got Belgium. Mind you, Belgium, I think, is past their golden. I think it was called the golden age, where these they're still fantastic players, but they're not.
Yeah, for me, it's their last chance. For me, the golden age.
Yeah,
it's that golden era. I would say that last year.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they're out of it, and Croatia hasn't been the same Croatia since 2018. So I'm not saying Canada's going to walk the group, but Canada's going to make it difficult. Canada's going to put up a fight. They're going to I said they were making it to the round of 16. Personally, I think they're actually good enough to make it out of the group and to the round of 16. They may shock some people. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win a single game. But from my perspective and seeing how this team plays, there's one thing that they have over other teams, and you saw this in the Mexico game and you saw this in the U.S. game, is that they have the mental edge over everyone else. Canada gets under your skin, and they get under your skin pretty quickly. And they try to get you off your game as quick as possible, even though they're not fantastic players. They still are cohesive as a team, and they play the mental mind games that can get you off your game, and they can take it away.
I think that's about to do it for us today. By the way, we are the 90-Minute Club at the 90-Minute Club. Also use the hashtag 90-Minute Club. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We also have our own YouTube channel as well. There's a link. Please like and subscribe. I would like to thank you so much, Carmine, for joining us. Thank you so much for allowing us to talk in the 90-Minute Club. And by the way, best of luck with you guys with the Napoli fans of Toronto. Please follow them as well. I'm giving you guys a shout out. Thank you so much, Mike, for joining for the two Champions League matches. Thank you so much, Dylan Anthony, for joining our podcast as well. Thank you so much for everybody, and we'll definitely see you soon. Last thing before we go, I want to mention, if you guys go onto worldsoccertalk.com, it's kind of like a World Cup bracket. What I was thinking we could do is we could actually have our own brackets, discuss them, and discuss the knockout stages and how that's going to work. We're definitely going to mention that maybe later on in the year. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. See you guys.
Thank you. Have a good one. Ciao.